Here in chapter 17, Isaiah continues circling back to the Assyrian invasion of the Promised Land. In the timeline, the initial invasion is found in chapters 7 through 10, but now the invasion is spreading to Damascus, Syria, and other lands. As mentioned last time, Isaiah's description of Moab sounds like a description of California. So the lands mentioned here, Syria, Aroer, and Ephraim, could represent those lands near California, perhaps especially to the north. Isaiah says, "An oracle concerning Damascus. Damascus shall cease to be a city and become a heap of ruins. The cities of Aroer shall lie forsaken and become places for herds to recline, where no one will disturb them." Aroer was probably an area in today's Jordan near the Arnon River, where we last saw the Moabites. And like the Moabites, these people were also nearby kindred peoples. When these ancient states and cities were sacked by the Assyrians, they virtually ceased to exist. As Isaiah says, after the invasion, stray cattle would live there without being bothered by anyone. And now Isaiah says, the fortified towns of Israel will also be destroyed, and the royal power of Damascus will end. All that remains of Syria will share the fate of Israel's departed glory. We often speak of Israel's 10 tribes being carried away, but we might remember that nations around them were obliterated too. So will it be in the last days. The initial invasion will take out key cities and military bases, then quickly spread to surrounding areas. Isaiah says, the fortified towns of Israel will also be destroyed, and royal powers will end. Royal powers means the power and authority of governments. In that day, says Isaiah, the glory of Jacob will fade. The fat of his body will waste away. The fat of his body wasting away refers to the depopulation of the entire area. The land will literally become desolate. Isaiah says it'll be like a grain field after the harvesters have gathered the grain. It'll be desolate, like the fields in the valley of Rephaim after the harvest. The fields of Rephaim, south of Jerusalem, were invaded by the Philistines, including giants like Goliath. The King James Version says corn was grown there, but this is a mistranslation. Corn wasn't brought to Europe until 1493, when Columbus took seeds back to Spain. But think of a rich grain field being trodden down by an army of men. It would truly be desolate. Isaiah once asked God when people would begin to understand his prophecies for the last days. The Lord answered, "Not until the cities be wasted without inhabitant, and the houses without man, and the land be utterly desolate." In other words, not until they saw it happening. But for those who believe now, today, how can we prepare? As I've said before, holiness will be the only answer. The Lord will speak, but will we listen? The Lord's prophet will speak, but will we accept him? Each of us has a unique destiny, a purpose in life that God would have us fulfill. Those purposes often require us to come close to the Lord to receive his word individually. How would he have you prepare? Ask him. And if you don't get an answer right away, keep waiting and asking and waiting while purifying yourself before him all the time. In the end, holiness is the only answer to the violence that is coming. Zion, the pure in heart, will provide the only refuge from that violence, and holiness will be required to enter into Zion. How should we prepare? By finding Christ and living within his love and grace with all our hearts. Next time, Isaiah shows us that we must leave our modern idols behind and come to the Holy One of Israel. I'm Curtis Taylor with the Words of Isaiah.